Okay, well, thanks for coming in, guys. I'll make this quick. Pro Bricky, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia, J.W. Morrison. Theologist, for those that don't know. And what I do not take lightly is workplace abuse. And this goes both ways. It can go builder towards tradie as a use of their authority, and tradie towards builder, just usually either in response to the builder's attitude or an attitude of their own. I was on a job yesterday, very nice gentleman on the phone, didn't seem to come across as somebody that would be abusive, as it were, tactful. Just a background into the job, I give this guy a call. You need a retaining wall done. Or block work done. It's not a retaining wall. I repeat, it is not a retaining wall. It will have bond work, bond beam, bond deck coming across for the slab. He'll pour a slab with Y16s running out of the block work into the slab. This will be core filled, but it is not a retaining wall. The discussion was, do you want core clean outs at the bottom? No, I don't. I said, are you sure about that? Absolutely sure. Because I was getting the blocks. I was doing the block pick up and delivery. And so, okay, so I got all the blocks and everything, and I turn up. Now, this is a job where he was going to supply a labourer, which I wasn't depending on. You never do on one out. But it's a very long hike from there down into here. It's quite a long hike, and the wall goes beyond here. You'll see later in the video. So I got started. I got started pretty quick. I think the guy was a little bit surprised with how easy I made it look. Pretty good start. He wanted the block work 10 mil in from the edge of the concrete, which was to be rendered. This is all to be rendered. Okay, it won't be seen. And okay, so I just went about my business. I'm going along. All of a sudden, the guy comes out, nice gentleman, tells me that he's got trouble with his back and all that. I said, well, I don't need your help. That's not going to be an issue. He said, I'll help where I can. And I thought to myself, you're better off leaving it. But anyway, he did bring a few blocks down, to his credit, once he got warmed up. But it really didn't help me much. To be honest, I would have been better off being left alone. Now, if you see here, it's all of a sudden he's decided that the block work internally is too dirty. There's too much mud inside the block work. I said, well, that's what clean-out's for, and you didn't want any. So all of a sudden now he's got me cutting these holes in the side of the block so that we could clean it out, which this is how they get you, right? This is how they get you. And now I'm not just laying blocks up a hill. Now I'm stuffing around, cutting clean outs out of blocks that aren't clean outs and all this other shit and rubbish. Oh yeah, and I'm the one at fault, apparently, according to this guy. He was frightened the wall was going to fall over. This is before all the clean out stuff. He was frightened the wall was going to fall over. He reckoned my work was the worst work he's ever seen. He attacked the price that I gave him, which was fucking reduced beyond comprehension. I mean, I thought this guy, not Australian. I think the man's Persian or Iraqian or something. But this is the point of what I'm trying to say. They're very covert. They're well spoken on the phone, gentle, nice, meek mannered. But once he had control of me, once I had established myself on the site and I was actually laying blocks, it got so bad that he said to me, I want you to leave. And I thought, hang on a sec, you need to get someone here with some authority to back up what you're saying. And I'm going now. So I'm saying to myself, being a theologist, psychologist at university level, I'm saying to myself, right, I've got someone with some very serious internal malignant, abusive tendencies here, which we've all seen. We've all seen. Now, the funny part about this, and this is what I wanted to mention, he offered me a cup of coffee, and I said, I don't want one. But he come out anyway, and you know those little coffees that people have? They're only about 2 inches deep, and they're black. And I said, what's that? He's gone, here, just have the coffee. So look, by this time I was rattled, trying to figure out, I got a truck half full of blocks. I got all the other equipment. I've made an investment into these blocks. I'm going to have to try and get through this, try and get through it. Because these people get a sense of acceptance and status by the way in which they stand over and abuse you, right? So I've drank this cup of coffee and he drank his, and I don't know what was in it. I was all right, but this guy went from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, completely changed. He was so abusive and so disdainable with the way in which he was speaking to me and criticizing me and all the rest of it, that because I've been in it for so long, I just thought, not another one of these. And then I just gone, you know, it reminded me of having mortgage stress and you have to be there and all this other stuff. So to cut a long story short, at the end, we're cutting. I mean, this guy's talking about perfection that was unattainable on what was going to be a rendered wall, right? And I don't think render's an excuse for reducing the quality of your work. The next thing, we're cutting holes in the fucking blocks. He's knocking the blocks around. And I said, mate, look, honestly, we're going to have to be careful here because you're worrying about the wall falling. The way you're treating those bottom blocks, it will disrupt the wall. And not only that, it can send your work out of level and then they blame you later and all this other stuff. You know what they're like. I'll play this video now and then we'll have another talk at the end of it. Up there. Oh, here we go. So this job, as you can see, the truck's up there. Venture down the side. And just let me say, I mentioned that because I've got a steel plate in one wrist, 4 screws in the left ankle. I've had a pin in the right ankle. I've had a laminectomy, disectomy at L5, S1. This is what bricklaying does to you. And I'm now loading this on my own. Now, I'm not saying that as a complaint. I'm just saying people don't understand when you get to the age of 60 what you're up against with inside yourself. Now, I was happy to take on the challenge, but you don't need people that are interfering and standing over you and watching you and picking everything you do and blah, 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 blah. It's just abuse. Right, now you'll see here, right, where we didn't... Oh, he complained about these ends not being full. That's just the screen. That's not the collar. That's just the picture of it. They were full, but he ran a jointer through it and pushed them in, so I just refilled them. He complained down here because the steel was wrong, so I pushed the bat forward and I just put a piece on the end of it to keep bond because I couldn't bend it without it all wrecking up, but I got it on the next course. You can see I'm 10 mil in there as requested. I'm 10 mil in here as requested. And I'm getting told my work's wrong. Now, when he decided that we needed to have clean outs, the wall was up. So I ran the demo saw through. And then I got the bolster and hit them vertically downward, and that just snapped the pieces off. But some of them didn't go right through, and this guy's hacking at the blockwork. I said, all that abuse, and now you're doing this to the wall, you know. And I've gone, I just got the blame for everything. Anyway, the wall. So there's a bit of, see, you can see where I put the demo saw through to get this guy, give him what he wanted. I couldn't get that last one. But he's saying this work is not good enough, blah, 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 blah. I had my level line up the wall. I'm 10 mil in. I did everything he asked me. You would not believe the way this guy... I don't know what's in that coffee. Does anybody know what the Persians or Iraqians put in their coffee? Because the guy went fucking ballistic. There's the wall. Now you can see there, I put the cut through there. He hadn't got taken to that. I couldn't cut downward because I didn't want to ruin his slab. I mean, that's just courtesy. There's a good view of the wall there. It was just, we shouldn't be subject to this kind of psychological abuse. And this is, in a way, the funny part about it is, as I said, once they got control over you, later on, as I was approaching the last part of this, and that's a pallet of blocks, by the way, funnily enough, that's exactly a pallet of blocks and some halves, add some halves to that. He made me lunch. And I was so rattled, I wasn't hungry, but he made a nice egg lunch and everything. It was like, by the time it was done, the person was a different person. It was horrible, guys.
Builder's not happy. Terrible job. Worst bricklayer, most expensive bricklayer he's had.
Yes, sir.
There he is. I won't put him on because
I didn't want to put him on because a lot of people can complain about that. I didn't want to embarrass him. But as you can see, I'm not frightened to say for what it is, because if this guy goes real stupid and decides not to pay, I'm ready. I know what I need to do if he does, but I don't think he will. You just don't know. You just don't know.
The police might find him. But yeah, not happy with the job. All no good. That's all I can.
Now remember, I recommended clean outs, and he said he won't need to. The fact of the matter is, believe it or not, he wouldn't even. I don't know who his engineer is, but you wouldn't need to core fill that because the slab's going to come over the top, and that'll hold everything down. But core filling it, if you can afford it, and putting all the steel in it. The steel and core fill and starter bars and all that, they're retaining wall. They're retaining wall methodologies. Okay, if that was 230 brickwork, you don't have all the steel, you don't have all the rest of it, and they lay the slab on top. They even lay the slab on the 110 internal part of the wall where you leave the step down, and everybody's happy. You've got all this steel and starter bars going on and all this, that and the other, and it's not even retaining. They don't listen. It could have been done in 140s. It still would have carried the slab. I don't know.
Really say, considering he did help me a bit. We got everything up from down from up there, and we did all right overall. We did all right.
So you can hear I'm trying. I've had to maintain a positive attitude, right? Because you can't. It's about your character as well. There's an old saying that says anybody can sail when the sea's calm. Well, this is probably one of the worst jobs I've been on as far as psychological abuse in the last, I don't know, me and the two sons did a job up at Newcastle somewhere, and there was a guy, he had a wall in the middle of the front yard to stop traffic noise, and one end of it was 5 mil out. 5 mil out. It had nothing to do with construction or anything like this. It was a goat track. It was a horrible job. I don't know what it was. It was just a tremendously hard, horrible job. We were 5 mil out on one end, and this guy went on and on and on and on. You don't have to be abused. I'm trying to figure out a way we can protect people from all this psychological abuse on sites, but I don't think there's an answer. I think the only answer we've got is to be psychologically, personally equipped to be able to withstand the abuse. Because if you had been here and seen what I was getting at the start of this job for the first couple of hours, I don't think any of you could have coped or stayed there.
The logistics are what's hard with jobs like this. Trying to get everything down. As usual, the labourer didn't turn up.
Now, the labourer wasn't my labourer. It was his labourers going to turn up. I promise you, if you come, on Friday, the labourer will be there. I didn't need to be there on Friday, but I went there to suit what he told me. Apparently, the labourer let him down early in the morning, but, I don't doubt that. But that's not the point, is it? It's not the point.
Everyone lets you down a bit.
There's a view of where the expansion foam will go down, the Able Flex. There's another view of look, honestly, if you want to criticise that work, go right ahead. But if you saw the abuse that I got, and he'll come through in a minute, you'll see him slide through.
But there's the quality of it. Terrible quality, hopeless.
Don't use him.
Don't use him, the builder said. Pro Bricky's no good.
That's what he just said as he went past. Don't use him. And these people, I'm telling you, these people, I don't know what their culture teaches them or who they think they are. This guy hasn't got a clue who he's dealing with. You know, I lost $230,000 in one foul swoop when I was doing the highways up on the Central Coast. When Reed Construction went down, I thought, mate, please don't push me. Please, you've psychologically abused me for hours. I've done nothing but be helpful. Another thing too, there was a couple of drops of mud down on the path, and he's come rushing down after he started, and he goes, "But what about the mud on the path?" And I've gone, "Mate, you haven't given me a chance. I haven't even had a chance to establish myself. This is finished pathway." I said, "Okay then." So he decides to do these clean outs, and I said, "How are you going to prevent the mud from going onto the path?" He goes, "Doesn't matter. I show you." So I copped all that abuse. I mean, horrendous abuse. You'll pay for the path, you'll this, that, and all the other. And then all of a sudden we've got all this shit over the path. And I said, when we cleaned it, I said, "See, it was going to be all right."
Yeah, you get the sand, you get all the blocks, you get the steel, and you're still not good.
I saved him on the blocks. I saved him $275 on delivery of the blocks. I think I got him 50 or 60, 70 cents off the price of the blocks. You know, I got the sand. I think I saved him $30 or $40 on the sand and cement. It all adds up. That's nearly $500 in more than that in savings. And you're standing there and you're getting abused, and you're going, you know, at my age, with everything I've seen and done and what I've tried to learn to be a good character and, you know, professional, and as professional as I can be, not only in my work but in my character. And you get this? No, man. No.
Good enough for these people. But anyway, there it is. That's the first session on this.
There it is. That's going to be rendered. So... Again, rendering is not an excuse for bad brickwork, because we all know the renderer is going to come in and criticise the brickwork anyway, regardless of how good or bad it is. They criticise. Your worst enemy, if you've got one on a site, will be the renderer, because I've had renderers cost me contracts because they've come in pissed, hungover, or with the shits and just gone ballistic on the brickwork. There's nothing wrong with the brickwork. So be very wary of renderers too. Not that these people aren't bad people. They've got characteristic flaws, personality disorders that they have never had dealt with. They've never had therapy or treatment for them, because these people isolate themselves. They don't give themselves the opportunity to get fixed. So they go through life just doing this sort of abuse on people, and think they get away with it, and then all of a sudden somebody bashes them up or something bad happens to them and they blame everybody else.
This job. We'll see how we go on the next session.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film the next session. So if he has one of his early morning coffees and starts, and I hope you're watching this, it'll be filmed, because if that had been filmed, what happened to me there on the first day, there's no way in Hades that man would not have been liable for psychological abuse. And many of you guys are putting up with this. Many of you guys also, a lot of you guys dish it out, and I'm warning you, don't. And many of you guys have suffered because of it. There's no need for it. It's not necessary. It's hard enough in life as it is. And I just want to bring awareness to this psychological abuse. See, attacking back aggressively is not going to work. because that's what they feed on. And a person with personality disorders wants the reaction because that's how they get their supply. That's giving them what they want. They're getting a psychological supply. It's meeting their disorder because it's making you look like you're wrong, but you're not. And I would advise all of you guys to give yourself the opportunity and the privilege to improve your psychological manners and health, mental health, so that you're not one of these people that put people like myself who take a lot of duty of care to make sure that I am psychologically right, and make the sacrifices to be that way. I don't drink and all that other stuff, never have. And to run into this kind of thing is very troubling for me, and I just hope not many of you are suffering as consequences of being in these situations. This is Pro Bricky. I hope this helps somebody. It's a real issue. It's hard. When I said to him, please, you need to settle down. I'm a professional mental health person, and what you're doing is not good. And I used to be a Christian minister. And when I said I used to be a Christian minister, he went quiet and he stayed quiet. I'm not sure why. It must have been the power of the Holy Spirit or something like that. I don't know. But good luck, guys. Stay straight, stay sober, stay strong, get plenty of sleep, keep yourself fit and well, push through, and I hope this helps. Hello to Jason Mills. Thanks for your page. And Jason, I hope this is a contribution and an asset to what you do for our industry. Bye for now.